The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Saban Entertainment, and Tsuburaya Productions.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another In Comparison.
Excitement! I'm very excited for this one.
I can tell by the fact that you just got taken over by a howler monkey.
Woo! In comparison though.
And now you're Ric Flair.
Woo! I don't know.
Now you're Ric Flair.
Yeah, another episode, whatever number. But Abaranger versus Dino Thunder. Man, oh man.
Episode 12.
Of In Comparison.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But,
Ooh, this is going to be
Abaranger versus Dino Thunder.
You almost at the ending there.
Abba Ranger.
No.
You said Abba Ranger.
Did I?
Yeah. Abba.
I thought I said Abaranger.
Whatever. Moving on.
Ooh.
In Comparison. Time to compare.
Okay.
We are comparing.
Going
Are
to
you
be
okay?
I'm tired.
different.
Really? Because you're yelling a lot.
Yeah. Uncompensated.
Let's start with where we usually start with these now. The openings.
I might be alone on this. I kind of prefer Dino Thunder.
I prefer Abaranger.
Me too.
Yeah, I figured. It's not just because it was one was first. I don't know why. Dino Thunder has always been one of my favorite Power Ranger openings.
Really?
Power Rangers roar, Power Rangers soar, save us from these evil forces. Win. It's just I don't know. My hype always goes up.
Alright.
But I will concede to the popular vote. But I am saying Dino Thunder is my preferred.
I'm wrong with that.
I love the Abaranger. It's just hype.
So is Dino Thunder, but you know.
Plus, it's a lot more catchy. Repetition. But yeah. Characters. Ooh.
This will be interesting. We're comparing adults to high school students.
Clearly we are.
Eh.
Especially in the case of Ryoga and Connor.
But,
The difference is the Red Ranger's the asshole this time.
Yeah, Connor was sort of terrible.
yeah.
Well, he was the stereotypical
Jock.
And I'm sorry, you play soccer.
It's
Dude.
New Zealand.
He does have a point.
Yeah.
Although they're not in
New Zealand.
Yeah.
They're not. It doesn't take place in New Zealand. You play soccer. No stereotypical high school jock plays soccer.
He does. But that, I guess, shows that they're defying tradition by making him not the stereotypical
Now,
jock.
there was something I mentioned in our actual review. The scene where Abare Killer and Abared and Dino Thunder Red and Dino Thunder White end up fighting the first time, that is a very, very different scene in the way that it ends.
Yeah.
Most of it's the same, but there's a scene where
The
Abare
few
Killer...
cuts, but it's a scene where Red is on his knees, I believe.
Well, no, like Abare Killer is like injured. Red goes over, like gets him up, and then Abare Killer like shoots him point blank.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in the Dino Thunder version, he dodges at the last second because he listened to Piccolo. And
Oh, brother.
Dodge!
But yeah, it's just like he dodged at the last second, and it's weird because once again, there's that thing with Japan and America and how they end up viewing censorship laws. But yeah, it's just that was a point blank shot to Ryoga's chest, and Connor ended up diving out.
Well, you also remember the difference in the character of Abare Killer and Dino Thunder White.
We're gonna get there in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to these two. It's just like,
But,
it's
I
very
prefer
different.
Ryoga.
Yeah, and the reason because of that is because I feel like they give Ryoga a lot more to do. Like, yeah, Kana had to really learn
The
how
whole
to-
single parent
Aspect.
angle adds a lot.
Yeah.
Which is really unfair because if they try to do they can't do a single parent aspect in a kid show in America, let alone with a high school
Well, I feel like they could. They're doing
with a
it
high
now.
school student.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well,
You
that's
could.
that.
They kind
were-
of screwed
you're-
themselves on that one.
They were restricted by the setting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's just
but for what we got
we got a lot from Connor, especially learning more about what he ends up doing after the show. Thanks
Yes.
to SPD.
Mm-hmm.
Him becoming the most famous soccer player in the world.
and starting a kids camp. And
Yeah.
So, but as from what we get just from the show itself, I'll admit Dino Thunder kind of dropped the ball. No pun intended.
when it ends up coming to Red, like they're both fine.
No,
They're
yeah.
both fine.
No,
characters.
again, there's not a lot of bad characters in either of these
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, why don't we move on to Blue?
Yeah, you can go with Ethan.
This one's hard because they're extremely different. Ethan is the stereotypical geek. And
Well, not so much stereotypical, but he's a lot more reserved than Yukito was.
Yeah.
True, but
Yukito was very outspoken.
the Magic the Gathering ripoff episode, though, if you remember that,
Yeah.
The
Honestly,
video game.
I'm gonna go with Yukito on this one.
I want to go with Blue. I think just because he served more of a...
Which Blue?
Sorry. Dino Thunder. Just because he served more of a purpose. Because he was the techno geek. He helped make their shit.
Okay.
Yeah, Yukito was much
That was
more...
that was a role that was filled by Yellow in Abaranger.
Exactly.
And I can understand why you would pick that. I'm gonna go with Yukito on this one because...
It's
because of his character and the way he was the jerk at first.
You got to watch him grow.
You got to watch him grow as a character.
With Yukito, what they did with Connor.
Yeah.
So they sort of switched.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference. In Abaranger, Blue was really the only one who was like, nah. In Dino Thunder, all three of them were like, we don't like each other.
Yeah.
So you got to watch them become a team, as opposed to Blue decide to get out of his own ass.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I like about Dino Thunder is that they take three people who, in normal circumstances in their life, would never speak to each other, and made them friends for life.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club.
It really was.
Thanks, Power Rangers 2017.
I'm about to say it was actually the movie before the movie was the movie. But it's just between the two of these.
I'll admit, the Dino Thunder Blue got they took that we got to make sure people know he's a dork thing a little too far. Sometimes. Yeah. Good God.
It's just it's really, really, especially between these two characters, they're so different because, their mediums are switched. And I don't know. I don't know who I would actually pick on that one. That's actually a harder question. It's
if you want to just say it as a tie, then go right ahead.
I'm going to go for a tie on this one.
That's fine.
I really like both of these characters.
I'm good with that. We have one for Abaranger, one for Dino Thunder, one as a tie. That's a nice even split.
And,
but you know it's not going to be a tie?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Before we even get in there, it's just I really like... a lot of this is coming from SPD, of course.
Lot.
But, I really like how they end up extrapolating on what happens to them, 22 years in the future?
Something like that, yeah.
By that point, and it's just a lot of the stuff that Ethan, with his, tech background, him actually going to the tech field post high school, a lot of the stuff that they end up using in SPD,
is because of him.
A lot of their base stuff is used because of Ethan. It's building off of him.
Yeah.
And I remember he had a couple of moments with Kat in that episode, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Because, they're both the tech people. Yeah, it's really hard to choose between the two because I like both of these characters so much.
But now we move on to Yellow. We have a Brainiac and Taylor Swift wannabe.
I don't know. We're not going to say she's Taylor Swift. Have you heard Taylor Swift in the song? I want to stab myself.
I said wannabe, but early Taylor Swift wannabe. Better?
Yeah.
I don't listen to Taylor Swift, so I wouldn't.
But I would have to give it to Abaranger on this point, only because the character served a purpose other than being the girl.
Yeah, well, it's Kira was great. I like her character quite a bit, especially the whole thing she had with Trent.
True.
The whole thing. I liked her personality. She was, the alternative rocker girl.
Yeah.
/ country / pop / music.
But I liked her quite a bit.
No, she was fun, but in terms of comparing it to...
Ranru just did so much.
Yeah. When you compare, which is the point of the show.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat the girl who built their shit.
Who was the tech. She was the Brainiac. And
the issue with that is that role was taken over not only by Blue, but by, I can't remember her name in Dino Thunder, Tommy's friend.
Haley.
Haley. She took over that role a lot more.
Yeah.
So it was hard to do that.
Yeah.
Now let's also, before we move on to the next character, let's talk about the fact that Dino Thunder comes with civilian powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Wasn't a fan of that.
I didn't mind it, only because it gave them that moment it gave them a reason to fight out of suit more because they don't know karate like the last.
Yeah, fair enough.
Plus that team up with the Ninja Storms.
With the Ninja Storms.
That fight was quality.
That was quality. But the thing is, I don't mind 2 out of 3 of the civilian powers because it made sense to the dinosaur they were given. Blue got shield arms, which makes sense, and Yellow got a Black Canary cry. Why did the T-Rex get super speed?
Shouldn't have just given him short arms.
Which I don't... Now,
civilian powers activate.
Now, don't get me wrong. Love super speed. Favorite hero is Flash. Never, but it just doesn't make sense.
He is red. He is red and he does have super speed.
I think it has more to do with the fact that he is a soccer player and they're always running. If you're on offense.
I have no idea where they got those from. It doesn't work as well. It doesn't work for the next one.
Let's also talk about the fact that black and white civilian powers are the exact same thing.
Were they?
Yes. One was invisibility, one was chameleon. So one got to move, one didn't.
Alright, speaking of that, let's go ahead and get into black with Asuka and Tommy.
Asuka's better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tommy. I love you, but Asuka's better.
It's gonna hurt you. I know it is, but you agree with us. Asuka.
Tommy, as great as it is to see him again,
he didn't do much.
He does not contribute a whole lot to the show.
And that's completely Jason David Frank's fault. He did not want to fly to New Zealand.
Well, yeah, he wanted to be home with his family. I don't really call that.
I think she was giving birth. His wife.
Oh, was she? Okay, never mind.
You feel like a jerk now, don't you?
A little bit. But if he was there, they could have done more with him. That's my point. But
yeah, Asuka, man.
He was strictly there for fan service, and let's not forget the fact that he was forced to wear long sleeve shirts his entire run as a time.
Because his arms are covered in tattoos.
And that just sends a bad message to the kiddies.
I guess.
Not punching people in the face, we wouldn't want them to get tattoos or turn into dinosaurs or run really fast or yell.
But yeah, Asuka and Tommy, man. It's just like with Asuka, we got so much in those 50 episodes with his character.
He's the best. I still think he's the best character in the show.
It's just like a lot of it focused on him. Him getting back with, finding out his fiance didn't die like he thought she did.
Let's also talk about the fact that when they have to morph, I rewatched the scene when Tommy morphs for the first time. He has to get the key in, like
he misses.
Whoosh, whiff. Such a whiff. But it's so fast you think kids won't notice. Now, kids won't notice, but here in 2017 where we have slow-mo and a pause button.
Wait, did he just... Yeah.
Which, I mean, the same thing happened in Turbo.
Yeah. This is why you shouldn't have those type of things, because people will miss every time. You had to keep filming it over.
Or you stab yourself in the hand with the keys.
Do like a simple, like Time Ranger.
I honestly like the choreography for both, because they completely transitioned the choreography itself from Power Ranger to the Dino Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same moves, and it's simple, it works, I like it. Though I don't know how I feel about them just saying ha at the end in Dino Thunder. Dino Thunder, power up, ha.
Why not?
The ha is required.
It always works better. Usually it's going to work even better in the Sentai. Well, could you change? And then hit, and that's it. So
how can you change? But anyway, the morphing sequence.
It's a Power Rangers tradition to just yell things.
Yeah.
So,
but
especially when you have Tommy involved.
Between Asuka and Tommy, it's just like we got so much. Like, yeah, Tommy is a legacy character.
I would also like to point out that Tommy calls his weapon the Brachio Staff.
It is more rapier.
Thank you.
And I thought Japan only did this.
But yeah, Asuka is just such a good character, and it's in this case it's going to be unfair.
It's not fair. Yeah.
It's going to be unfair because we got so much from Asuka. We got a whole full loop with him with his character,
and we got almost 10 episodes of Tommy being stuck in his suit.
Yeah.
Asuka wins.
10 episodes in a 30-episode show.
Yeah, Asuka wins.
38.
But he was a great character. He's a really, really, really good character.
It was It was so nice to see him back, though.
Now, Mikoto and Trent. Here's where things get very, very separate.
Yeah.
Trent had an actual character that wasn't Jigsaw.
Well, no, because Mikoto had an actual character.
He had an actual character. It's just his was evil.
Yeah, the entire time, evil.
From start to finish, evil.
Every villain is lemons.
What would you like on your breakfast? Evil.
Every villain is lemons. Evil.
I thought we were above SpongeBob.
We are never above SpongeBob references.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I
know what SpongeBob is, I just don't know what the reference.
But yeah, between Trent
you.
and Mikoto, it's so different.
Their characters are designed so differently, it's hard to compare.
Differently.
Because Trent, sorry.
Yeah. Who the hell is Trevor?
Achievement Hunter.
I mean, yeah, but what does it to do with this?
Trent,
there's a lot of people named
Power
Trevor.
Rangers, yeah. Power Rangers something.
Power Rangers Trevor. Trent had that whole his dad's the villain thing going for him, and somehow being evil, then not being evil. It's weird.
And then having a clone.
That was also weird.
I'm gonna go with Mikoto's better.
Mikoto was evil partially because of what was, Desmo inside of him, but also just because of the fact that he enjoyed it.
He was a sadist.
Yeah, he was really a sadist. And he was just he was just completely badass, from start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote it in English because fuck you. That's his whole thing. I
love how instead of that, they were just like arrows in Dino Thunder.
I mean, he did the arrows immediately after he wrote his name.
Yeah, but he didn't write his. They just cut the name part out, which would have been nice.
But yeah, it's just, between these two characters, Trent was sort of... What's the word? Oh, a bitch. For most of it. Just like...
it's just the word I'm looking for. All right.
But yeah,
That
was just like...
accurate, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, because Trent was always, sort of...
And especially like when he was first introduced, every time he demorphed, he looked like he just got
died.
He looks like he had half his blood removed.
Yeah. He had no oranges or crackers next to him. He just died. That was basically him. But Mikoto
I'll give props on the voice of evil Dino Thunder White, though. That was...
But yeah, it's just like Mikoto was just, I'm evil from start to finish, and I never stopped being evil, really.
Can we talk about the villains now?
Just a second. But yeah, it's just like between these...
I want Dino Thunder to get a point.
Careful to hit that bone at the table.
I want Dino Thunder to get a point.
Yeah, Mikoto's just... He's great. And, he's the first one where he's evil throughout most of the show. Like, yeah, they did that sort of with Dragon Ranger back in Z-Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
But he was only evil for like 10 to 12 episodes or
Something like that.
And then he died.
And then he died.
Well, after the camera went out. But you get my point.
And then, Time Ranger was evil for like 8... Time Fire was evil for like 8 episodes.
The Go Riders for like 5 episodes.
And there's just like Mikoto.
And who was evil for the whole show.
Yeah. It's
I wouldn't even call him evil, per se.
I would definitely call him sadistic.
Yeah. I would call him... He's on his own team.
Yeah. That's really what he is. Even after he became the leader of the Evolians, he was still on his own team.
But still.
Oh, okay. The villains. Who do we start with? Let's start with Elsa. Elsa? I think that was her name. And Visual/Rejay.
I give it to Elsa.
Yeah.
Because...
Me too. Yay, Dino Thunder gets point.
Yay.
Happy.
This is where Dino Thunder is going to get most...
Dino Thunder shines with its villains, people.
Yeah.
Because every villain had a stake in this. Like, legitimately.
The whole thing was Zeltrax, though. Because they treated his character very, very differently
in
this. But back to Elsa and Rejay was great. Rejul was a bitch, and I hated it.
Mm.
Elsa was just like, I'm going to be cool, collected suave, and a female villain.
Also, I'm the principal.
That too.
Mm.
So I am also a woman with power.
She was a good character, though.
Wasn't there like a moment where people were wondering they were going to ship her and Tommy?
Yeah.
Which was real.
You sure you're not making this up?
No.
When the show was originally airing, people were worried that was going to be a thing.
Yeah. Because he wasn't dating anyone at the time.
Did they even know what shipping was back then?
They didn't use the term shipping.
Shipping has been around since the original Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's where it came from.
Oh.
Is
it now?
But Rejay, as I said, Rejay was perfectly fine. Like, having Little Girl as this character who was basically evil.
Yeah, she was great.
Was great.
Before we continue, we must bring this up, or someone's going to bring it up. Yes, the Dino Thunders did watch an episode of Abaranger in their show.
It was terrible. It was a terrible episode. Moving on.
Yeah, it was a filler episode. What they fucking do? We're moving on. Bye.
Now, who can we put Zeltrax up against?
It was also one of the first references or the acknowledgement of the existence of Sentai and Power Rangers. Moving on.
Also, the thing about the villains in both shows is that they're so different.
Mm-hmm.
The two of the primary ones, the ones who make the monsters, Zalfa and Michaela, they're not in Dino Thunder.
In a team up.
They're in the team up, but they're not part of the main villain.
No, Dino Thunder gets a beam or some shit again.
But yeah, it's Zeltrax and John, weirdly enough, in this one. Because Zeltrax was originally like a friend of Tommy's, and that whole thing, and then they hate each other, which, I mean, that worked for the way that a lot of the scenes from the Sentai came out and out. But yeah, it's just like John had...
Because that armor kept fighting the Black Ranger a lot, so they had to come up with a reason for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It just worked a lot better with John, which is, a thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. We also had to put him up against Rejay and Rejul.
Mesagog wins.
And
Mesagog, just looking at his picture, this is a scary dude.
Yeah, he was great.
Mesagog is nightmare fuel.
He was great.
Period.
He was a great
villain.
Like, yeah, it's just like he was threatening. He was just, scary as hell. He beat the shit out of Lothar, which is all we ever needed to see.
I was gonna say this. He's the antithesis of Lothar.
Yeah. Where he's actually,
I still love the
He's
scene
competent and he's scary and he is a constant threat.
I love the scene where Lothar comes up to his ship and he's like, I've been having issues. And he goes, does it have 12 legs and have come in multiple colors? And he goes, there's 10 legs this time. And I'm like, ha, that's funny.
Yeah, it's just like Mesagog was just a threat. And that, he's always a threat.
If we're going to compare Mesagog to Detsu, the big bad from...
That's Macarena.
Him. Detsu Mozzarella, whatever his name is.
From Abaranger.
From Abaranger, I definitely am going to give this to Mesagog.
Yeah. Mesagog was just... One, he was always there.
He's
Desmond was always there, but not...
Physically?
Yeah.
Physically, he's never really
Mesagog
there.
was physically there. Mesagog was the Abare killer of Dino Thunder. Can we just say that? He played games and screwed with his subordinates.
Yeah.
With psychic powers and bullshit.
Yeah. He was great. Plot. This is where the show...
They're very different.
Yeah.
Very, very hard.
I think what Dino Thunder was trying to be more like the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because but better, because it was once again a dinosaur theme. So they're trying to give love to what started this franchise that has made 10 plus years of Power Rangers, bringing back the most popular character, bringing it back to high school,
forgetting Rocky.
Everyone forgot Rocky.
Exactly.
And so it was just a callback season. Because not only that, this was the season that had its 500th episode of the series.
Yeah.
Which they had to celebrate with a clip show.
Yeah, this...
cheaper than doing anything else.
The plot of them are just so different. Also, it's similar in the way that the villains are moving towards their goal.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the Abelians want to spread the...
I'm going to give
plot...
Everything. I'm going to give the advantage to Abaranger here.
Yeah. It's just
the reason why, it's because of Asuka. It's because of him and Jean and the Jean Mahoro storyline.
The problem is Dino Thunder really didn't have a coherent plot other than fight bad guy every week.
Yeah. It's like the characters are all great and all, but it's just like it sort of fell behind because Trent had his whole thing with
his dad
and the clone,
and then his dad ended up being Mesagog. There's a lot of clone split personality things going on in the show. It's real weird.
Yeah.
And also they called his Zord a dragon.
Yeah, and then Mesagog, his whole plan was to turn everybody back into dinosaurs, and I'm sitting here like, okay, I don't think that would work because everybody came from apes first, but all right, but it's just.
Maybe this whole thing actually takes place on Dino Earth.
Maybe. But yeah, they're very, very they feel like two completely separate shows from each other.
Yes.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing
that's
at
actually
all.
a good thing.
No, yeah.
In some cases.
In some cases, that's a great thing.
In this case, this is a good thing because
Samurai would have been a great thing, but we'll get there.
Because you're not just making the same thing again. You're taking, it's point of departure adaptation. You take an idea and then you expand upon it to make your own story.
Sometimes it works, like with RPM. Sometimes it doesn't work, like with Death Note 2017. It still hurts people.
But yeah, both of these shows are great, though.
I don't see the comparison.
One is a good adaptation, one is a really shitty adaptation.
Yeah.
Still not Dragon Ball Evolution.
No, it's not. Or Avatar. But yeah, both of these shows are very, very good. But overall, I'm going to give it to Abaranger.
Mm-hmm.
Abaranger dealt a little bit more with the realistic. And I think that actually does end up helping it a little bit more.
It does, but here's one thing I would like to point out. It does better for us as adults. Kids who the demographic of this show is, they don't care about realism. So in terms of...
They're going to end up going to the dinosaurs that talk. You forgot about that. The dinosaurs don't talk in Dino Thunder. Nope. So they don't have personalities, and they don't really end up getting a lot of screen time because of it.
I'm not saying that Dino Thunder was better at being for kids. I'm just saying to that point.
Actually, I don't even remember how in the hell did they even get the dinosaurs in Dino Thunder, like the auxiliaries. I don't remember.
They showed up. I think they escaped Mesagog's ship, or Mesagog took control of them, and he let them loose, and then they turned them back.
And I'm saying,
I'd have to
think
rewatch
after
it.
the first time they would have not done that, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would need to rewatch the first episode,
but yeah, they're both very good shows. I personally, and I think Jacob as well, maybe you, are probably
overall I will give it to Abaranger, but I'm just saying.
I definitely do.
But yeah, they're both great shows.
All right, I'll be quiet now.
If you think
I was in the middle. I was in the middle of a sentence.
Oh, sorry. When they continue, sorry.
I was saying overall as a show, I give it to Abaranger, but as a fun experience, I'm still giving it to Abaranger. But Dino Thunder was good.
But yeah, tell us what you think about both of these shows in the comments below.
And as always, like, subscribe. I can say that now because Marcus didn't push me over at the end of the video.
And, of course, join us for episode 13, where we're going to be doing Dekaranger versus SPD.
During Dekaranger Month.
That's going to be an interesting and
That's very fun with a ball of light.
We're back to comparing no civilian powers to civilian powers, except for one.
Yeah.
But we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.